try to see.
Coming to you live on www.kgosiefm.co.za. Come to you live again on www.someoneholdings.co.za. My name is Segongane, and this is a Wednesday edition of a one-on-one with Mrs. Bonang Sepolani from Progressive Forces and Mrs. Kwena Molekwa from as an activist. Kgosi FM today, we're going to be talking about two topics. The Baragwanath Hospital hiring in Ethiopian National, and we're going to be talking about chidimma back on in South Africa. And this time, Mrs. Molekwa, Kwena Molekwa will be telling us more about how she actually exposed chidimma in the first place and how did she get to be in the country again. We are coming to you on live on www.someoneholdings.co.za, www.someoneholdings.co.za, and www.kgosiefm.co.za. And the number is still 064 548 776 069 692 4788. Bomme, dumelang. Hello, Usbonang Mema Kwena, Langudwa. Hello, Usbonang. Langutana. Can you both hear me?
Dr. Kgosi?
Yes, Mama. Langutwa. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, you're audible on my phone.
All right. Usbonang?
Yes, you're very audible, Dr. Kgosi.
Okay. Usbonang Angutla wena?
I can hear you, Doma.
Okay.
Hear you.
All right, it's fine. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to Kgosi FM. Welcome to the Kgosi on Live Show in the evening of Wednesday, the 12th of February 2024. And then we're going to start just now and talk about the topic that I've already mentioned. If you want to talk to me, the number is 064 548 776. The number is again 069 692 4788. We're going to go first to our sponsor, and then we can continue right after this. This show is brought to you by Segongane Medical Services and Clinic. They are a private clinic situated in number 70 Ethiopian in Westview, Danville. They specialize on the following: primary health care, ailment diagnosis and treatment, including medication, wound care, family planning, well baby clinic, basic ultrasound, laboratory blood services, treatment of chronic illnesses, treatment and management of patients on ARVs, wellness screening, antenatal clinic, HIV services and counseling. They have a pharmacy on site and they are doing CCMDD services as well, OHS clinic, circumcision clinic and abortion services. Their cell phone number is 064 548 7176 or 071 422 8576. Again, the address is 70 Ethiopian in Westview, Pretoria West in Danville. Cell phone number again is 064 548 7176 or 071 422 8576. Yeah, that's our sponsor for today, Segongane Medical Services and Clinic. They're only charging you $350 consultation cash. They don't take any medical aid. So if you go there, go to $350. Swipe is still. So you either have cash or you can come with your card. They don't take any medical aid for now, and they will let us know. And then only, like I said, consultation I want to get $350 and the medication is separate. So yeah, but check it out on 70 in Westview in Denver. Good evening again and welcome to Kgosi FM.
Good evening, Dr. Kgosi.
Yeah, maybe I can see Mema Bonang or just greet the listeners and tell them who you are and where you're from.
Ke Bonang Sepolani, ke moduli wa mo 60, the national organizer from Progressive Forces.
Okay. Uskwena? Hello, Uskwena? Languta Uskwena? Hello? Hello? Hey,
good evening, Dr. Kgosi.
Oh, yeah, maybe we can greet the listeners, sisters, or and you are from?
I think you're still speaking with Ausbonang.
No. And she was just very sweet and short. So maybe it's your turn now to tell us who you are and where you're from.
It's Kwena Mulekwa. I'm an activist. That's what I call myself, I think. Yeah, I qualify myself as an activist.
All right. So are you both activists, Usbonang, Loen?
I'm from Waterberg in Limpopo province. That's where I reside. But generally, I work with anything from socioeconomic issues and South African issues that affect South African immigration as a whole. And yeah, I'm just outspoken, I just have a lot of views to say that, South Africa must be for South Africa, it must prioritize its citizens, and, the safety of South Africans must be of national importance. So a lot of times I speak about different issues. So yeah, that's myself as an activist.
I see. All right. So when did you start this activism of yours, my sister? Maybe we can just start with you because you are the first one here. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit. Look, as an activist, and then what have you done up to so far? It has grabbed our headlines or maybe made a change in our environment.
Well, I would say I grew up in a political home, so I don't even know when did I start, to be honest, because you just end up doing so many things. I remember when we were in varsity, people were doing Fees Must Fall. Unfortunately, I went to a private institution, but I ended up supporting other people, that were alive when I was active, from EFF.
Yeah. All right.
Realizing that I'm an activist because, I started in the politics of the EFF, and we were campaigning for, freeing the activists that were arrested during the fall. Tanya Kgosi, we were organizing the marches for him and all others,
Okay.
So yeah, I started like that, and little by little, I went and then I found myself in Port South Africa first, with the years that came by later, from being a Pan-Africanist and now, waking up one day and saying put South Africa first. And I was like, okay, this is patriotism, and yeah, let me follow this. I mean, the ideology of Max, sometimes it's a questionable one.
Yes.
It was very good to learn about it when I was still young and active. So yeah, and so far I've worked on different things. I've exposed a lot of corruption in South Africa, immigration crisis in South Africa when, the government was refusing to actually even acknowledge that we do have, immigration crisis in South Africa. And even today, there's still, a lot of issues. I remember even fighting over the issues of statistics in South Africa, that the statistics that is inspired or captured by study is not the stat that is of an ordinary South African of a left experience. Statistics, sometimes they always say numbers lie, but
yes.
yeah, they do, because if I have to speak about immigration, you have to speak about it where you stay and where I stay. We will relate on so many angles, and without us probably even sharing the same location at one time. So yeah, so that I've been doing, and yeah, I think the big one that has been there now is the issue of chidimma. Though I started with ZEPs, I don't know if a lot of people do remember that. We started even with the ZEPs, and we were trying to get our government to cancel the ZEPs. They lied to us, and yeah, we had to move on because they only expire in the next 5 years. So hopefully in the next 5 years, the spear where we left it, and to re-campaign again towards
okay, because remember
getting the EPs cancelled out of South Africa.
Yeah, because the last time we were supposed to have an interview, me and you, how did you expose Chidimma's story, the parents?
Dr. Kgosi, I seem to be losing you.
Akudlu? Hello?
Hello, Dr. Kgosi.
Langudwa?
Yes, no, you're audible. I did lose you. Yes, no,
Okay, because I was saying the last time remember we had an interview lined up with you. How did you come to expose chidimma, achidina? Yeah, and then we could not because of other circumstances that came, and then we could not have a show. Yeah. King Kimang
So the big
Chidimma.
one is
Chidimma what?
the chidimma one.
Oh, all right. Once again,
Didnt, if I'm pronouncing it.
okay, let me do this, my sister. Let me just call you on another line, and then I will call Usbonang after we're done here, because I think maybe I'll take you and then I'll take you after that. Because it seems like our lines are not so clear. All right, Usbonang, the guy.
Yeah, it keeps
all right, language
drinking. It's not that. Hey, dog. Yes, it's better that way, dog.
Like it's a Nepal, then I'll take you after that. Is that okay?
Yes, doc.
Okay, yes. Okay. You can. Okay, get this. So, okay, guys, we are going to call Mpho Mulewa Bailey, and then she will tell us another first story, and then from there we'll take Osborne. Maybe got a second hour. Osborne will come in and tell us her story about this bara person, and then we'll take it from there, because I think if I don't do a conference, it will actually be more clear. So remember, the number is still 064 548 7176 and 064 548. I mean 069 692. 4788 6069 692 4788. That's another WhatsApp number. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna call Mpho. Hi, Kwenar guy. Yeah, one good pillar this time. At least it's much better.
Yeah, it will be much better. I did think WhatsApp is not.
Yeah.
The thing for the interview.
All right. So, how did you come we expose? Because last time I remember, I wanted to have a show where Naki would tell you what happened. So, because of other circumstances, we could not do the show. So, tell us a little bit about this chidimma thing. How did you come to expose it? What happened? Give us just a story behind it.
You know, the story behind it, a lot of people don't actually even believe it. One thing I did, it was on my X platform. I tweeted that the current Miss South Africa candidates don't actually represent South Africans. I did not single out Chidimma. I even put Palesa Lumambada. I think if I'm pronouncing the thing incorrectly, I don't know if I'm butchering it. Yeah. She was one of the candidates. I put so many, and even that Chinese girl and one with Scotland background, I put their pictures, and I put Chidimma's pictures. And with Palesa, it was quite clear she had Zimbabwean background also.
Yeah.
So, different people came and they were attacking me, because it started on X. They're like, no, I went to school with this one. I know her. So then, obviously from that, I always say, data, it exposes what you need to know about a person.
Yeah.
And not primarily what you write, what is the story of Kwena, but what people say about Kwena. Kwena would be known by other people. Like, it's just that clear. They would say, no, she's from the same village as me. I know her. We went to the same school. I don't know what village she comes from, but, I know her. She was in my tertiary class with me, those kind of things.
Yes.
That's how you start to build up a timeline. So we started building up timelines for all of Mrs. South Africa's candidates that we put out today. So everyone, even Vanessa, she was part of the list actually, the dark girl. So everyone, people came in different, places, and I went to school with this one. We went to the school. We this, and Chidimma somehow. She was the only one ordinarily from the issue was she's from Soweto, and nobody from Soweto came to say I know Chidimma, and then that's how this started actually. Okay. So then we went to ask ourselves, how is it that is possible? So with other candidates, from that data analysis of people coming in various numbers, then we're able to check out, their background, how they were naturalized as citizens, even the Chinese girl and that girl with the Scottish background, and I think one was like Eastern European and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure yeah. So all of them, that's how I actually know that, this one was Scottish, this one was what, you understand? So it was quite easy to now, check even with my other people that, I work with a team that doesn't want to be actually known because for their safety purposes.
Obviously,
so
yes.
Then we started to, raise, chatted maps, and started to put this one here, started putting this one here. Some of them, some people are very honest to such an extent that, they share a lot of information on social media. So we were able to get other things from their social media and do a time phase of their life. And they checked out and we checked everything and it was okay. Then Chidimma was like the only one from Soweto. I mean, now the newspapers were coming in to say, no, she got a Mozambican, South African root, rooted, Zulu, whatever. Turned out this was like quite confusing because there is no way you can see somebody from Mozambique is Zulu. Like, I don't understand these things that people try to push. Sometimes, pushing this historic background of how we migrated or whatever, or Bantu migration. I don't necessarily relate very well with it. Because I don't think a colonizer can write my story and tell me who I am and how I migrated.
From. Exactly.
Yeah, because, I mean, that is just a lot of, I don't know what to call it. But let me not reduce the argument. So with Chidimma, it was like that. And then nobody came through. Nobody said I went to school with Chidimma. And after a while, I think we were even approaching towards elections. So being, politically activated somebody. So I was like, no, guys, I'm going to put this on hold because we are about to go for national elections and I'm going to be on the ground, to lobby for the party that I believe can prioritize South Africans. And as I did, then somebody stepped inside my Twitter messages and said to me, Kwena, I know this person, but can you keep me as an anonymous? I'm going to give you a background. And that person was very helpful. And they told me what I needed to expose about Chidimma. It's like, no, Chidimma's mother is Mozambican and the father is Nigerian. Okay, wow.
Yes.
Then fast forward, the elections were over. Then that's when during the election time, though, we were all busy. We were even gathering the information. So the information that the lady gave us checked out, and then it enabled us to get even more information about Chidimma. So when we came back after elections, and I started saying, no, there is a Nigerian girl with a fraudulent South African identity. There is no way.
Yeah.
So everybody started saying, no, you are being xenophobic. That's the only thing that you are. And, Chidimma by virtue of being born here. I think, that's the problem. I even had to fight with somebody like Advocate Tulima Donzela. I mean, I respected her so much. But then, when I was raising a landmark case that happened in Polokwane in 2022,
yes.
And I said to her for that judgment, I'm like, if you're going to contest the Chidimma by virtue of her being born here, then I think you should be referring to that landmark case because of it. I'm not a lawyer, but, I had to jungle a bit of advocate things and say whatever that I needed to say. And she kept saying, no, she is. I'm like, no, go do that and tell me, because of I as a South African or as an activist, I went through that, and what they said, it is actually relatable to what Chidimma said. And then they kept on saying, no, Chidimma can be stateless. I'm like, by virtue, she's not stateless because, we even have this issue. I think it was in 2022, around the same time, that landmark case that came through, we had this other organization. I forgot what is it called. It represents foreigners in South Africa. These people, they don't want their embassies to document their children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they were actually marching to union building, demanding that our government must document their children.
Okay.
I mean, why do we have these people's embassies inside this country? We can't be having so many embassies that are unable to document their own citizens. I mean, what is their use inside South Africa? That was the question that we had. So they end up, taking our government to court in Polokwane High Court. And that's when the ruling came, and to say that, no, we cannot document them. Their embassies must be responsible for their citizens' well-being in South Africa.
Yeah.
So then that's how we started to see that, okay, chidimma. So obviously, by virtue of now, investigating somebody, you end up finding their whole life. And chidimma also went to go celebrate with her Nigerian family. And there was nothing South African about it. So we kept on asking, what is it? Is chidimma integrated? Is she naturalized? You understand?
Okay.
And I think, the important thing that I always talk about is integration, because you can't naturalize a person without integrating them into the society.
Yeah.
And this is what our government is failing to do. Because, these issues are even rising in countries like Britain and the UK, where they're saying that they are a Christian country, and then now they have to integrate Muslims. And Muslims don't want to change to be Christians. So how do you integrate people? Do you understand? So even with us in South Africa, by virtue of people being naturalized, I feel like we still have not integrated these people. And if we have not integrated them, then we are not building one society with them. It can't be that we are naturalizing foreigners inside South Africa. And, integration has always been there. I'm Pedi by virtue of me staying in Limpopo, but my origins is here. So if I have to sit down with Bashia from Northwest, I'm most honored that I'm Pedi. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I've been integrated.
I see. Okay, so then...
So those are the things.
So then, how did Miss South Africa? How did you get to Miss South Africa to make sure that they drop her or put up the pressure? She actually is not South African. The parents are from Nigeria and whatnot. How did it come about? What did you do? What happened after you went to Home Affairs? And then, because I want to get to the crux of how did you expose her? And yeah.
Firstly, it started with just. The pressure that was there, it was me having to counter mainstream media using X platforms because there was no journalist that was willing to write this story, unfortunately. So it was with the help of many South Africans that went out in various social platforms and saying that, they took my tweets and they've made content out of them. Most went to even, YouTube channel to discuss this issue of whether I'm being xenophobic, and that's how we applied pressure in the long run, actually. So we tried to write to Miss South Africa, and, it's quite funny, Dr. Kgosi, Miss South Africa doesn't have offices, it's got offices on paper, but if you go to those offices in Sandton, they don't exist.
Or at the office thing?
The office in South Africa, they don't exist.
Oh, Miss South Africa doesn't have any offices?
Yes.
Then how do they conduct
on paper.
Their own Twitter only?
No, they are on their website. They're just there to decorate the website, and they give you numbers. You call them, you try to email. Nobody's going to get back to you. You go to those offices, you're not going to find anyone in those offices. They've long apparently moved out of those offices. But on their website, they do have their address and all those things.
I see.
So other activists, that were on the ground, because I can't be everywhere for my safety and security. So people like Anele, even Auslulu went, Bonang, you call her Bonang actually. So Auslulu is Bonang. They went to Miss South Africa's real offices and they didn't fight Miss South Africa there. They had to check on Instagram what Miss South Africa is doing for the day, and they found that they were in Rosebank at some spa. They end up dodging those activists that were there, to approach Stephanie. Stefania is also an illegal foreigner or whatever. She's not a legal foreigner, whether she came here with a passport. I just don't understand the story behind her. I'm still working on something towards her because of she's a non-South African and she's owning something that's supposed to represent South Africans. So this is the reason why we will always have this issue. And I always say, it did not start with Chidimma. There was a girl called, I think, Melissa. I can't pronounce her name. It starts with an N with Ugandan background. A year before Chidimma, we complained about her, actually. It's just that it didn't get, the coverage and the exposure like Chidimma did.
Okay.
So with Melissa, also, she ended up dropping at one time because Melissa, when she was doing the flags, she did a South African flag half side and then she did the Ugandan flag. She uses an Ugandan surname. Though her mother is South African, so she would qualify to be she qualifies by virtue of her mother being South African because our citizenship, you get it through blood.
Okay.
So her mother is a Xhosa woman but married to a Ugandan. So the question that was there was it whether if she is a citizen of both Uganda and South Africa because of there's issues that I would love to raise on more about actually when we speak about people with two countries, those it end up bringing what is known as conflict of interest, and that person can't represent. I always say they can't represent a South African because when you say that you are Ugandan South African, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like for me, it doesn't make sense. Like you understand?
Like you've got dual citizenship.
It's either you're Ugandan or you're South African.
Yeah, like you've got dual citizenship or you've got two passports here and the Ugandan passport as well.
Yeah, but you can't say you are a citizen of two countries. It's gonna have a conflict of interest in the long run, and you're gonna think that Uganda is a next program to South Africa, where else is not. We're speaking about a country to prioritize its citizens, and we're speaking about a country that has to check its national security threats and start to look after its sovereignty. So those are the issues that I always talk about and say that we have so many issues inside South Africa, especially when we are talking about just immigration. So with Chidimma, it was that we started applying more pressure, and South Africans in numbers, a lot of people started talking about the issue, even when typical mainstream media did not want to talk about the issue, but people were just making calls, and everybody was like, no, Chidimma doesn't represent us. Chidimma, who's Chidimma? And that's how we started to apply the pressure, and with the help of Action South Africa, so they took the matter to Parliament to question the Minister of Home Affairs, and we didn't get much out of it, but we applied pressure where we could, and even with Progressive Force, they assisted in the process of it. So that's the long run of exposing Chidimma, and it became an international topic because even Nigerians were trying to protect the issue of Chidimma, regardless of the laws of South Africa, whether she's supposed to be integrated or naturalized, because you can't make a citizen. We are not in the state of America, and even today, America of Donald Trump is actually eradicating that law where, by virtue of you being born in America, then automatically you're American. So even with us, we are nowhere near to a first world class country to actually even make such reckless, laws and say that, by virtue of a child being born in South Africa, then apparently they're South African. Yeah. That is the myth that is there, that is out there. That's how we end up, having a lot of foreign kids, or a lot of women that are pregnant from Zimbabwe, migrating to South Africa to give birth, because they've been told that by virtue of giving birth in South Africa, then your child is automatically South African. So
I saw a tweet this morning, and I actually smiled. IG Joy Zelda, I don't know if you've seen that, where she was saying her name. She has your picture there, And she said, her name is Kwena Molekwa. Without this girl, South Africa and Home Affairs would have known Chidimma, that Chidimma is back in our country. She's a true hero. And the comments are very fierce. The comments are fierce. There is one that says, "Stop being a hater when focus on yourself and leave other people's business." Did she come here
No,
illegally?
because I really know what they say. I laugh a lot about that. Man, I should talk about the Malifielo. I get it's also it's okay, man.
Yeah. So there was like that, and then Omari, is this what makes her a hero? Very lesson to you. Black South Africans are so foolish. And the other one, Kwena, take your flowers. Tokoza Gogo, you're playing a huge role to save a beautiful country. Please never give up Gogo Tokoza. Okay, that one is flowers for you, Madali. And then Omawari, what's wrong with Chidimma being South Africa? What did she steal? So let's talk about that one, Kwena. Is she back in this game? Because I get that she was everywhere and doing stuff, and then being Miss Nigeria University, winning that title, blah, blah, blah. And then is she back in the country? Because I haven't seen waves about William country. Is she back?
This is a video. You know, one thing I always say, like I told you, data analysis. Data analysis is not you, Dr. Kgosi, saying to me, "I'm back in your country."
Yeah.
It's somebody, when they see you, they like, she is back. I'm going to give Kwena this. You understand? I don't have to be there.
Yes.
It's not me.
Yes.
It's the larger community of South Africans that I say, we are enough with illegal foreigners doing SAPs. We are enough with people like Chidimma that are committing identity fraud inside South Africa. You understand? So somebody did see Chidimma, took a video, sent me that video, and even said to me, Kwena, please keep me as anonymous. And I promised them that. And I can't do that and say, I was told by this person. It's the larger community of South Africa. So I will always know what I need to know, because South Africans on the ground, whether I'm in Cape Town or whether I'm in Limpopo, it does not matter. Yeah. There is a South African that is in Cape Town that will support somebody, or that will see crime, that will say, no, Kwena, please look into this. This is the video. This is the person. This is their Instagram. This is their social media. This is whatever they are doing. Yeah. That is how I work. I don't work necessarily as my own, but there is a lot of South Africans that are on the ground, and that came to me and came to my DMs and said, Kwena, I stay in Cape Town. I was by waterfront, and I came across Chidimma. And they have no reason to lie to me, and they've never lied to me before. So why would they start today? I only say that.
Yeah, and when was that? Because I see a video I'm playing on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a video playing there now, and then it shows here, hey, Chidimma, in a waterfront. Yeah.
Said to me, it was on Sunday around 5 o'clock when they saw Chidimma.
This past Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. But then how, because I saw even more intended now, there was a poll that was done where the Minister of Home Affairs must resign because of that. Or how did she get into the country? Have you ever, when I spoken to your people, trying to get to know how, if it's true she's here, and how did she get through in the country? Did you try to do that?
Yeah, I'm still working towards that, because like I said, I work with different people and, work different activists to ordinary South Africans. So the best that I can do now to get Home Affairs to actually answer is through Action SA. They said that they will be asking those questions tomorrow. I mean, today. I didn't follow up though. Yeah, it is today, Wednesday, right? So they've tabled certain questions to the Home Affairs Committee in Parliament to question them, because the issue that was there again was the whole Chidimma saga. It was when she was in Mexico and she used her fraudulent South African documents to enter Mexico. And because Leon, the DA minister, did not cancel them.
Okay, so that is why
which means it's probably the same thing. He has not cancelled them.
Yeah.
So that is the issue
that is why
that we're having now.
Yeah, that's why they're asking for him to resign. I've got another tweet, another WhatsApp for you. Irkwena, you are the queen. Progressive forces. Some of us rose from being keyboard warriors to actually become active on the ground. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your inner circle. I want to be part of the inner circle. So when are you going to be confronting Home Affairs about this story? But I want to know, because the thing is, I haven't seen any waves when on the media, the news never said anything about her around. So I don't know why are they hiding
media
it?
has been very apologetic. Mainstream media. What is known as mainstream media in South Africa, even from the beginning, they were not there to help us break the story.
Yes.
The only thing that we wrote, it was that we are being xenophobic, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
So even today, I can't expect mainstream media to say there is chidimma in South Africa, she entered South Africa and it's unknown, because they have never done that. Mainstream media is not patriotic in South Africa. It does not even want to talk about topics that South Africans want them to touch on.
Yeah.
So, when you have a media that is captured by politicians,
yes,
and that is the media that we do have in South Africa. So, yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah. Still coming to you live on www.kgosiefm.co.za. Coming to you live again on www.swanholdings.co.za/KgosiFM/ This is the Kgosietsile on a live show, coming to you live again on my YouTube channel, which is the Kgosietsile on a live show. You want to go see me in the studio, you want to chat with me there, because there's an active chat there. Please just go to YouTube and search the Kgosietsile on a live show, and you'll see me. I'm still on the line with Kwena Molekwa again, the activist that actually exposed Chidimma from who are her parents to everything that happened. You see this on the media, until she resigned from Miss South Africa, and then she went out to Nigeria, and Nigerians gave her the crown of Miss Nigeria, Universal Nigeria. So I'm still on the line with her until maybe, let's say, 8:30, when some fella or what happened, because apparently Chidimma someone circulated a video on social media. Chidimma is back in this country, and there's a poll now that is calling for Leon Schreiber, who is the Minister of Home Affairs, to resign, because how did she come in here? And as you heard Kwena Abua Mohore, she actually used a fraudulent passport, South African documents, to enter into Mexico. Mexicans couldn't our office in Mexico. This person is using fraudulent documents. Do they not do that? Don't have any of that information?
By virtue of us having a government that is not pro-South Africa and that does not put South Africans first or prioritize its citizens, is the reason why Mexico did not even know. And that's the reason why even, the Minister of, International Relations did not do that, including even Home Affairs. Because Home Affairs, by virtue of Chidimma leaving the country and refusing to comply with the investigation, and her mom refusing to answer Home Affairs questions, they were supposed to be, one, be arrested. You understand? Two, it was supposed to be that they cancel their documents and put an alert to the international bodies that they mustn't use those documents.
Yeah.
So the government had already failed us. So that's the reason why Chidimma would feel like, she can do as she pleases. So if she does speak that, there is nothing that's going to happen, because South African government is quite apologetic towards this issue of fraudulent IDs and passports. This is the reason why our passport, even internationally, is no longer actually as available, because, there is so many issues that are there, especially when we talk about the security passport of South Africa, because of it doesn't guarantee you anything any longer. It doesn't have a value. That's the reason why we even lost out on our bilaterals with the UK. It's because of such issues. So the issue is not just bad. It's the issue that we do not have a government that wants to fight crime.
Yeah.
And that is the problem.
All right. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, Oscar, up to so far, it sounds like you've done a lot, and it sounds like you've really stepped on a lot of toes. How's your safety, by the way? Has anybody tried to threaten or your family or any threatening messages? Because some of us, we are going through that sometimes. Whenever we can do some things, it's going to step on other people's toes. So, and how's your safety up to so far?
I can't say I'm safe. I do get threats. I don't want to lie to anyone. But I think my threats minimized when I started staying full-time in Limpopo. So, yeah, the only time where I don't feel safe is when I'm around to have to go to Gauteng and be there by virtue.
Okay.
Because I can be spotted anyway, and I don't know how any other person can react towards me. So, that is...
It's nice to be a celebrity.
It's quite crazy.
It's nice to be a celebrity. Your face everywhere.
It's just that it's hard work.
Yeah.
When you go out, you make sure that if I'm leaving, this time it will be this time.
Yes.
If I'm meeting a person, don't miss that time because of in the past. I think I did have an altercation with the Pakistanis. So I took it like maybe they won't know me, and I went inside the store. I tried to buy, I think it was Coke and some stuff, and we were going to my cousin's flat. Next minute, I knew I was on the floor. Next minute, I was taking videos for my safety. I was like, yo, I was a mess.
They attacked you?
Yes, they did attack me inside the store.
Inside the store? But while people looking...
It was late in the evening. My cousin was like, I had to wait for her from her workplace. So after she was done, then that's when we went to her place. So before we got in, I was like, let's buy cold drink because we might need it in the morning or at night.
I see.
Just something to, So when I went in there, I was like, I'm thinking, okay, these ones are Pakistani. So I do know that sometimes, I actually step on the toes of Pakistanis because I do speak about the other issues, and I actually I would always say that I speak about all illegal foreigners. It doesn't matter whether you're white or black or whatever color you recognize yourself with.
Yeah.
As long as you're illegal inside South Africa, so I do speak about that. So I went in with the mindset. I was like, oh, they won't know me. And next minute I knew somebody was slapping me, and 4 Pakistani guys were already inside the store, and then all of a sudden now I have to call the police, and the police were like, yeah, you're being dramatic. You know how these police are trained or they are paid by Pakistanis, and now I must apologize. They took my bag, they put a lock on top of my bag. I even had to make a whole content about it because I was like, yeah, and now they're like, no, I was trying to steal. I'm like, how was I stealing if I'm paying? And then now they're like, no, you're not going to change, all those things. So it's just escalated.
I see.
So yeah.
But it's a lot about right. You never got injured too much.
No, I never got injured. The one that was life-threatening, it was when I was at my friend's farm. We got attacked in the middle of the night. Oh, Dr. Kgosi, if I have to relive that, sometimes I think about it. It's not that I want to think about it. It just comes back and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Never agree. Because, that's why I say, safety issues for me. I think I have a whole lot of my safety issues when I'm in Gauteng. Because automatically when I think that people don't know me, a lot of people know me. When I'm in Limpopo, I think, it's mitigated. Not so many people know me, but I don't know. Maybe they do. It's just probably I'm taking it live.
Waiting for the opportune moment.
Yeah, so those are the issues. So I think it comes with probably the job that we do, that we have given ourselves, trying to fight for this country and trying to get this country more functioning. But I think, once you start to speak about the issues that ordinarily people don't want you to speak about, you will get eliminated and you will get threats. And it comes with it. I mean, I even get people, wishing me death sometimes, even on Twitter. And besides them, besides that, that, I don't know, they were trying to make a mockery of, my ancestral practices and, giving me all those labels and attaching them to my ancestral calling. So I was like, okay. So I usually get a whole lot of other, name callings than, what they would probably say for Malisielo, all those things.
Yeah, because when I look at it, like the thread Hazel, this one, I was like, wow. I'm going to read those little tweets now. So I've got a question from Musbongi. Our good evening panel. When is Chidimma saving her country as a crown-carrying queen while she so desperately to be a South African, coming in and out as she pleases? How many Chidimmas do we have in South Africa, Marapila Pila? And how's the South African government assisting you as an activist on Usquen?
I don't get any government assistance.
You don't?
It's like even when I do stories, they don't, even mainstream media doesn't even credit me for any story. They just take my tweets, they run with them, and even government, nobody, nothing.
Then
I'm just me.
Not even a bodyguard in a one or a fan. VIP in a one.
Once illegal foreigners in South Africa,
yes,
you are directly touching politicians in a way they don't want you to touch them. That's the one thing I can just say to you. Right. Our politicians, they love foreigners. Seriously, guys, it's ludicrous.
But I hope you'll be safe, sisters, and keep on doing the good job. Being a patriot.
I will try. I don't know, but I'm still risking it. I'll keep on risking it.
Yeah, but you're in Limpopo safely there. In Limpopo, you don't want to know where. We just know you're in Limpopo. It's a huge province. You can go and check Limpopo, but at least she's safe wherever she is. And South Africans, let's just be patriotic for a little while. But let's stop attacking one of our own because she's speaking the truth. And she's actually trying by means hard to make sure that this country is really respectable and this country is really safe and okay for us as South Africans. Like any other people can be proud of their country. Let me just check another last comment. Osbongi, if you were given the ministerial post at your Home Affairs, what were you going to do with this fraud and corruption that is in Home Affairs, Osquen?
One thing for sure, like they always say, when a minister goes, it means that the whole office also leaves. So if I have to be the Minister of Home Affairs today, I think one thing for sure is that we need to find a way to deal with the officials that are working with syndicates.
Yeah.
So that will be the number one priority. The second priority for me would be to upgrade our systems, especially when you talk about, the ordinary passports of South Africans. It needs to be changed so that we do know who do we have and all other information. The fact that, let's say, for example, if I say that, let's say I got married, sometimes at Home Affairs that information gets lost.
Yes.
If I have to use maybe my marital surname.
Yeah.
It's like I just blossomed from nowhere. Do you understand?
All right. Yeah.
So I feel like we do not have even the systems of what is known as asylum and refugees. So those systems, I would work on them because of I've seen, and I would just refer to the case of Gigi's daughter's murder. There was a Swati national that was accused of the murder of Gadrish Godi's daughter. So I as I was working through that, because I felt like, someone was not telling the whole truth about the whole case.
Yeah.
So then they accused that Swaziland national. That guy came inside the country, I think, in 1980. And then from 1980, he was not on the system. And then, boom, in 2015, then that person is somehow a citizen.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and there's even cases where now you do find like national foreigners, especially the ones that are from Tanzania and Somali. So, and Kenya, they would usually lie that they are going to Kenya.
Yes.
far away. They know that they're going to cross to their home countries and they're not supposed to go back. Even with the Zimbabweans, that is another issue. So I feel like I would change the system that we do have currently of refugees, because we need to know who is coming in, who is going out. Them just, bringing you a letter for me is not enough, because that's the current system. They bring letters of invites from wherever. Let's say maybe they're going to Kenya. They get a relative that's in Kenya to send them that letter. So we need to have systems that can capture and say, this is a refugee in South Africa. They have came here for this reason. They are a political refugee, or they came because of they are discriminated inside their country. So you need to know what is everybody. And by just clicking on the system, I feel like it needs to pick up. And if by a year we do not see your activities, then it means that we need to deport you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. You can't just wake up with people today, they come in as refugees. 5 months down the line or 2 years down the line, you don't know where they were all this time. And then next minute, they are permanent residents inside South Africa. That for me would be like the number one thing that I will have, the second thing that I will do. And the third one, that would be it's more attached to the national security plans of South Africa, because of the issue that is by the borders on its own, the porous borders. It's actually endangering the lives of South Africans, because of we are denied our right to a safe country. So if people are crossing illegally, and because of this issue of people talking about reforms, I feel like, we are not really in such a state that we would talk about reforms, but we need to take charge of what is happening at our borders, and not just the border gates of, Bay Bridge, or the border gates where, we are saying these are the official entry points. We need to take charge of the unofficial entry points that people have created. And that's where we need to focus. Because I feel like even in rural areas, there is not even much activity. So if you're going to clean the cities and you're leaving rural areas, you are dumping more foreigners in rural areas. So that would be the last thing that I would want to do, especially when you speak about, the issues of safety of farm workers of farm workers and farms, and you speak about the issues of rural communities, like where I'm staying, yes, and because I've never even seen an immigration officer inside my area just doing a round checkup. You understand?
Yeah.
So those are the issues, and I feel like if you have to do something like that, ordinarily by doing that, people will come forward and will be telling you where to go.
Yeah.
And they will guide you. Because South Africans want to see this in action. They want to see the plans, and they want to see government, removing people that are not supposed to be inside their country. So, and I feel like, we need to educate our people even more about immigration and how an immigrant is supposed to be inside our society, because by virtue of somebody just having a passport, it doesn't qualify them to be in South Africa, to be working, to just be, roaming around the streets of South Africa.
Yeah.
So those are the things that, the people need to know. And they need to know, even when we are talking about saying people mustn't rent out to legal foreigners, some will say, I've already rented out, what must I do? One, they don't even require passports, they don't even require what is the legislature, especially around those issues, you understand?
Yeah.
We need to educate our people so they know what they are doing. And more especially the ones that are saying, no, I don't have a problem with those people, but they need to follow the law. Because somebody was giving me an example. In England, apparently, let's say you go to a small town, like maybe, let's say, a small town, Breds, you understand? Yeah, Breds, let's say, you understand? They say that by virtue, the municipality is supposed to know how many illegal foreigners, just not illegal foreigners, how many foreigners are there, what they do, where are they working, all of those things. It's not just a Home Affairs issue, because if you're going to just say it's a Home Affairs issue, we need to have Home Affairs. It has to be linked to municipalities. Municipalities need to know in their area how many people and how many people they're not supposed to be taking. You can't just, be pumping a number of people in one area and, making that area be dominated by a certain group of people that are non-South African.
Yeah.
So that will be the priority.
All right. I've got a last question for you now before we go to. Do you think our government is doing enough to find more chidimmas? Hence, we have Naledi Chirwa, our EFF, as a member of parliament.
Our government, we even have a deputy president who is coming from Malawi. And I wish I was saying this because maybe I'm the one that found it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
They made a tweet. I think there's a tweet that's been going around. I think I love sharing it a lot, actually.
Yes.
About Paul Mashatile. It was from Malawi tweet.
Is it?
And they made that.
No, I thought Mashatile was South African. Not Malawi.
How? You must check at Malawi tweet.
Yes.
You will find it. Like, I'm trying to look for it, but yeah, I probably after the call I will be able to send it to you.
Yes, please.
It was tweeted by him, not me. It wasn't tweeted by me. I think it was something I found. And yeah, they were saying he's from our place, and he has never declared also. And it's quite sketchy where he comes from also, because he claims to be from Bush, but he can't even speak Tonga. But yeah, that's another conversation for another day. So one thing for sure is that we have a lot of infiltration in government. So if you are infiltrated, by virtue of you being infiltrated, that alone should tell you that we will not get anywhere with this government. So they will not even do what they're supposed to do. This is the reason why even Cyril Ramaphosa stopped that forensic report that is supposed to be out there for Home Affairs. It is actually done. And guess who are the people that are on the list? It's mostly politicians. So they end up sharing it at Cyril's office. So that tells you what you need to know as South African, I think.
Exactly. Sisters, thank you so very much for taking our call today and for being with us, man. Keep up the good work. Continue to be patriotic. Last word for South Africans who are listening now.
I think my last words to South Africans that are listening through, one thing I always say, our allegiance is to the country before political parties or any other individual. You do not owe your allegiance to Gwena Molekwa, because Gwena Molekwa can change tomorrow. But all of us have a duty, and we all have a role to play in raising a better South Africa for our children. So it's not my duty alone. Everybody has their role, and let's all rise. And let's all not give up on our country. And we need to fight for this country. Our parents fought for it, so now it is our time to fight for it and to move it forward. But we're not going to move this country forward with us being, what is known as promoters and clappers of politicians. Politicians don't build countries. Countries are built by their citizens. And we all have a duty as citizens of this country. And our duty now is to fight our enemy. And our enemy are already at our doorstep. So that's all I would be saying.
All right. Thank you, Gwena Molekwa. I hope you are safe, dear. And I wish you the best in all your future endeavors. And please keep on fighting the good fight and be safe.
No, Dr. Kgosi. We only have one country, so we don't have a choice anymore. We are already deep within. You can't even. That's why I should
yes, of course.
So it is what it is. We are gonna go forward, and we will keep fighting. And do keep well with your listeners. And hopefully I'll be more of a regular. I'll come back next time. Hopefully.
Please. And I want you in the studio one day.
That was good certain things.
I want you in the studio one day. I'll get some podcasts, don't worry. Thank you,
no,
dear.
I know. You'll give me the VIP treatment,
I will do
guess.
that. Definitely do that. Don't worry. Have a good night again.
Okay. No, hi, that.
Thank you, Miruna. Yeah, that was Mbogoto Kwena Molekwa Bagechu Watin Tom Fazi Watin Tom Bogo. And again, that thing, how do you work us on another ring? Our Melako 64548 or 069692478. Hairi Watin Tom Fazi or Watin Tom Bogo. Unqualen Castwara Limpoting or Rumela voice note on those WhatsApp numbers or 64548 Yeah. Thank you so much, Uskwena, for taking our time and for being with us today. And locally, coming now locally a little bit, I want to talk to, remember the Baba Mo Ward 60, those who will relate to Ward 60, where I am today, because you're always doing local news as well. We were having an expose, General Bayers, the school General Bayers right here. And then we were talking to the SGB thing a few times on our morning show. And then I'm going to, and then there have been some developments that happened. Because I'm going to take him shortly, then I can go to Husbonang, then we can talk about the 1 year go baragwanath. And then I'm going to take him a little bit, Kapila. And then what actually happened and what is the way forward now? Because apparently the principal has been suspended, but not suspended, but removed from school, and she has been moved to the district. So that Jackson Mutembu, KSGB chairperson, Yago General Bayers right here in Westview, more than Danville Ward 60, then he can be able to explain to us a bit more about what really happened. Mr. Mutembu, Dumela Kgosi guy. Welcome again to Kgosi FM and the show Kgosi on a live show. Thanks so much for taking our call this late in the evening, and we do apologize if there's any inconvenience caused. Maranaka, let's just get straight to the point. What are the new developments? Because the last time we spoke, the principal was not at school, but she was not suspended or anything. And then last time you sent me some WhatsApp stuff. What has happened? Give us the full background story.
I think what I can share with the listeners before I can get into the story, I would like to greet your viewers and your listeners during this time of evening. What has happened on the 5th of February, that is last week, Wednesday. It happened that the district came to school in the morning to serve her with a precautional transfer to the district.
Not a suspension, but a transfer.
Yeah, I will not say suspended, because remember, when you're suspended, you are not at work, you are at home. But you're getting paid. So I think at this moment, when we make a follow-up and understand what is happening, obvious now, the concern is that there are a lot of government is losing money for people to stay at home, they're still getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's better if they take this individual to another place where can able to proceed, whatever that work that they will assign to this individual. Of course, whatever that has been assigned to this individual, it may not link back to the school. So basically, that's what happened, is a precautional transfer to the district. So meaning that at this moment, she has been removed from our school and pending the disciplinary hearing that will be taking place. So if I look at the letter that I read through, it is taking about 90 days. So this process should be within 90 days. So from there, meaning that hopefully by then they will be completed with the disciplinary hearing. I'm not sure. So, but at this moment, she is not at school. She's been transferred to the Tshwane district, Tshwane West district. That's where she is at this moment. Yes.
Oh, all right. So she's working as what thing? Do you have any inside information about Wirango thing? Yeah, and but then how can she be and how can she go to a DC as a suspendiwa? Didn't I?
At this moment, I've got no knowledge what her responsibility or the duties that has been assigned to her. But what we know that at this moment, she's not at school.
Yeah.
She's not allowed to be at school. She's not allowed to be in contact with any staff or any employees at the school at this moment. But as I have said earlier on, I may not be in a position to better explain the precautional transfer, but it's not a suspension to obviously upset. If you are suspended, meaning that you are at home,
yes,
you will be paid while you wake up and do whatever you want to do, but not at work. So at this moment, they have transferred, they just removed her from our school to go and work at the district. I've got no idea what exactly she will be doing at the district. Okay. But obviously, while she's there, I think it's also allowing the investigation to go further in details and see whatever that allegation that has been raised. Is there any substance on it? But pending, looking what they've taken, the decision that they've taken, they might be seeing something. Hence, they've decided to remove her temporarily at this moment until we understand what is the final outcome.
I see. And then who's now at school acting on her position? Are you vice principal or did they bring somebody?
At this moment, yesterday we were called by the district. We had a meeting at school that almost lasted an hour. Yes, there's someone that they managed to appoint as an acting principal.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we have our first SGP meeting because, of course, the SGP meeting is only a legal body that is consist of the parent component, the principal is part of the SGP, the teaching staff part of the SGP, none of the teaching staff were also represented. So if one of these body or individual is not there, it's not a complete SGP. So hence, all along, we could not hold a proper SGP meeting. But as from tomorrow, after the district managed to appoint someone to stand in for this period, we will be resuming, or we are resuming tomorrow with the SGP meetings and activities to resolve all the outstanding issues in our school at this moment.
All right, no problem. Okay, Mr. Mthembu, so thank you so very much. Or is there anything else you'd maybe like to add and tell the parents of Baragwanath BRC? You know, just some words of encouragement. Because last time we were called and said, listen, guys, we need the media to come to the school because we want to block the school or something like that. What was that, Pilar? Maybe it was a fella on that front, or what was happening that day?
I'm not sure you're referring to the event of the 14th of October last year.
No. Now the recent event, yes.
Now, I think, I think it came to a point where we, as a representative of the parents, we said, you know what, it's become difficult on us. So obviously, we have tried. We went to try to engage parents on another platform to say, because we are not allowed to be in school, and then we cannot call the meeting. How do we keep our parents engaged or aware what is happening? So that's why we had that meeting, I think a week before last. So obviously there were suggestions and proposals among parents to say, enough is enough, let's do this, let's do that. But eventually, within ourselves as the leadership of the SCP, we managed to say, let us give one another, let us give one more week and see what is happening. Because of as much as we did, we were not sure what, when, but we, based on the constant discussion with the department, we got a feeling that it might work in our favor very soon in terms of what we are looking for, in terms of their approach, all what we have brought forth. So parents, they managed to listen and say, okay, you saying, let's give you one more week. Let's give you one more week. But where we are sitting, for them, they were proposing to say enough is enough because of a lot of things that are not going well at school. The grass is not being cut. The budget has not been approved. the books, allegedly the books are not there as well, stationery is not there. So all those things are centered around the SGP that is being labeled to say it does not want to do this, to do that, to do this and the other, the payment and the last part. We felt that, you know what, it will not be correct that we keep on. So we've been compromising all along, but whatever that we are compromising for to come to the meeting where we are waiting to drive and rush in the midst of the traffic to come to school, but eventually it becomes fruitless. So that's when then the parents, they thought that if they can take this, they will be able to assist us to ensure that the department, which is HOD provincially, they quickly come in and resolve these things. So I think that was what parents, they were planning to say, why not now? Let's just close the school and until this person is out of the school. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough, we managed to convince them, give us just one more week and see how far we can go with the department, of which within that week, within 3 days of that week, and then the manager of the school was precautionally transferred to the district. So in terms of the parents, what I can tell you, understand now there's also a challenge that obviously there are still no books. Look, we were at school last week doing the stock taking and check all the books in preparation of the new principal when, or the acting principal when is being appointed. So now as tomorrow we have a meeting, we should be able to resolve this issue of the textbook. We should be able to resolve the issue of the stationery because in our own, we cannot sit and be sat. We need to be in a meeting of the SGP, which will be happening tomorrow. So there were challenges, but I think for now, our challenges are over. It's a matter of meeting and make a resolution as from tomorrow. All what is pending, the likes of AGM, the books, the stationery, the school cutting of the grass, the budget approval, it should be something that we should be seeing unfolding as from tomorrow onwards.
All right. And then because the cut of the school was in dispute,
for now, I cannot tell who it's Mang, but based on what I read on the letter that was presented to the manager of the school, it was saying that every property of the school has to be handed over to the labor department. The labor department are the one that came to serve her with the letter. So up until now, obviously, once they hand it over to the labor department, it has to come to the new acting principal.
Okay.
At this moment. So I cannot, for now, I cannot tell exactly where is it, whether it's the school or is with someone, but I don't think it is still with her because obviously, based on what is written there, immediately one sign and acknowledge, you should be able to hand over whatever that it is your position that belongs to the school. But as from tomorrow, we should be able to have a direction and start to work accordingly.
Okay. Now, we'll put that ear on the ground. How was the outcome? Who's the new acting principal? Is everything back again? Do school and all that? So thank you so much for taking your time again to talk to us.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Moran. We just appreciate anyway the support of the parents as well. We will do, or we're doing all we can now as from tomorrow to ensure that we return, our schools return back on what is known for all the challenges that the school has been going through for the past year or so, if I can put that, because since we assume office, things have never been easy for us. But I believe now it's a matter of all of us working together as a team, together with parents that have been supporting us, because of really parents have played a huge role on supporting us to ensure that we were trying by all means to be transparent to them, and hence we've been receiving that support from them as well.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Kgosi. We appreciate you. Have a very good night and greet the family for us.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Moran.
Thank you, Moranak. That was the AGBG person, Yako General Bayers, Mo Danville, giving us a lowdown on what actually happened. Because we almost have covered the story, and the principal was taking money, aswapa kobo ulisi Sunday, aswapa katia skolo, aswapa lokobo Toys R Us, crazy store, so not Toys R Us, crazy store, and then the rules theory, working Katia school must only be swiped during school hours and for school things, but then go lisi batlang, go Christo batlang, go pick and pay whatever that she was swiping, a holiday car weekend batlang. So the principal has not been suspended. She has been moved to the district office to do what they, we have no idea, but we'll keep our ear on the ground as Kgosi FM, and that's on so Kgosi on a live show that we can be able to give you the story pila. Okay, our last story for the evening before we can say bye-bye. And then we're going to get Osbonang from Progressive Forces. Because during the week, I keep feeling, we were bombarded by a video of an Ethiopian national, go Baragwanath Hospital, and its summer went something like this. Sorry, somebody took a video of this man, Ko Baragwanath. He was wearing a white shirt with maroon epaulets, and then by poster, and then we got something like this.
We want to establish the conditions for.
No, not when man.
An unauthorized Ethiopian individual is currently employed as a nurse at Baragwanath Hospital without formal education.
What's your name?
My name is Baliso.
Baliso from where?
From here, from Joburg.
Joburg.
Yeah.
Originally?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Those are your?
They are the same.
Oh, your brothers? Yeah. They were coming here to visit you?
Yeah.
Okay. They just visit you at work? Yeah. Serious? You are at work, but your friends are visiting you. Hey, my brother. Your friends, they just came here to visit you, but you are at work. Hey, you are lucky, eh? South Africa, it's nice, ne? Huh? It's nice in South Africa, eh? Yeah, hey. No, South Africa is very nice, comrade.
All right. So that was a video circulating on social media at the moment of Ethiopian nation. If you are watching on YouTube, you can be able to see the man.
An unauthorized Ethiopian individual is currently employed as a nurse at Baragwanath Hospital without formal education.
What's your name?
My name is Baliso.
Baliso from where?
All right. His name is Paliso. I get to Paliso. I think Paliso. From here in Joburg, but originally he's from Ethiopia, and he was walking into the hospital with some of the other Ethiopians coming with him, where he said it is his friends, and then so they're coming to visit him. Maybe in the lunchtime, I will just like remove that benefit of it. Or maybe it was his lunchtime. So yeah, so this person, the whole thing, how did an Ethiopian national be hired in government position? We know what the law says about employment. We know what the law says about business, about foreigners. Foreigners must have 5 million to invest before they can open up a business. And I believe, stand on correction, even when it comes to employment, there must first be no South African that can do the job, and then they can be able to take a rare skill from outside to bring it to the fold or to the government post. And then the condition that rare skill, somebody must train on that who's South African local, and then the person can be let go. But to answer all that, I'm having Osbonang on the line. Osbonang Sipolani from Progressive Forces. Also Akadumela.
Dumela Dr. Kgosi
guy.
Yeah,
I'm soon to tell you that video which is all over the place. Let's go TikTok. Let's go Twitter at the moment. And before I got to I actually went on and searched, and then I got an article here. Article I think Yako IOL. I'm gonna read just a little snippets. That is the response. Department of Health. Gauteng Health confirms Ethiopian man works at Baragwanath Kgosietsile Baragwanath after viral video. And then the Gauteng Health Department has stepped forward to defend an Ethiopian nurse employed at the Kgosietsile Baragwanath Hospital amid allegations circulated on social media claiming he is working in South Africa illegally. The department has confirmed that the nurse, who has been a part of the healthcare system since 2011, holds permanent residency and has a valid South African identification certificate. So two things. Onale permanent residency and has a valid South African identification certificate. I don't know what that is, but yeah, that's what they say they have. And then Mudiba, the head of communication at the Gauteng Department of Health, addressed the issue following a controversial video that surfaced on X, which is formerly Twitter. In the clip, the nurse has been seen questioned about employment and nationality as he enters the hospital. Insinuations made in the video suggest that he is part of the fraudulent system, exploiting South African resources, leading to a public outrage and calls for an oversight. And then, and I quote, the department strongly condemns or cautions against this new form of intimidation, which masks itself under the guise of the so-called oversight, where staff is targeted. Often unverified information which distorts facts get shared on social media platforms in a manner that seeks to incite the public. Yeah. So I'm going to stop there on this one. And then, Osbona, what is your take on this as progressive forces? Did you guys do your own oversight? And did you go and ask relevant questions about this person?
Dumela ntate Kgosi, dumela bareki ba 160 le bareki ka bophara ba ba le tlelang Segongane FM. And ntate Kgosi, last week we did take the measurements as progressive forces. We wrote a letter to the MEC of the Health in Gauteng Department.
Yes.
Number one, it's very funny when the video of an Ethiopian nurse through the internet, our government reacted. But when a Zimbabwean patient in Midrand was harassing a South African nurse because they were short-staffed, which is something that the department was telling us about, that they are short-staffed. They didn't react. They didn't issue a statement. So the first issue that we wanted a clarification on, our letter goes as follows. Inquiry regarding the timing of the department response to the Midrand nurse incident and clarification of employment of a foreign national in a scarce position.
Yes.
We as Progressive Forces of South Africa are writing to express our concerns and seek clarification on two pertinent issues. Timing of the department response to the Midrand nurse incident. It has come to our attention that the Gauteng Health Department recently addressed the incident involving the nurse at the Midrand halfway house. We are concerned about the timing of this response, and we like to understand why the department did not address this matter promptly when it first arose.
Yeah.
Timely communication is crucial in maintaining public trust and ensuring transparency within our healthcare system. So when the internet went viral with the Ethiopian nurse, the following day, Gauteng Department issued the statement you just read in Katohos.
Yes.
But when our nurse was subjected to this by a foreign national, our government was quiet.
So, what do you think could be the cause of that?
Because our government doesn't want to put the ills that the foreign nationals are doing in South Africa. Sometimes they even believe that if they put them, it will rise xenophobia. So I don't know if they keep on boiling the frog. When that frog will get to a boiling point and explode in a pot, what will happen in South Africa? Because at this moment, we're at the point where we as South Africans have to choose either us or them. That is where we are as South Africans, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So it took us as progressive forces to stand up and go and protect that nurse at Midrand clinic the following day. We closed the gate on that day. We said there's no foreign national that will receive health care in this clinic until our nurse was attended. They called in SAP. There is suddenly a resource from the government. I don't know, it was two of us. We had parts of SAPS, maybe with plus minus 20 police. There was PPP, there was security, private security was sent back. We stood our ground. Two of us, we stood our ground. The union came around 9-10, and some of the other private unions that came to support the union for municipal workers. That is when we saw, Hore, as South Africans, if we don't stand together, we are not going to go anywhere. I'm always being told by my fellow patriots that I get emotional. Yeah. There's no way I won't get emotional as a patriot, looking at the direction that our country has taken, looking at the way our government, our leaders are behaving. This is the only home that we have. For foreigners, for capitalists, this is the cotton farm. They are here to farm. When the cotton is finished, they will go back to their country.
Yeah.
We are giving birth to our kids.
All right.
That they depend on what we are doing today for them to be able to live in the next generation. But South Africans are sleeping. So let me continue with the issue of the nurse. Let me come back to that.
Yeah.
Employment of foreign nationals in scarce skill position. That is part number 2 in the letter that we sent to the Housing Department.
Okay.
Regarding the Ethiopian nurse employed at Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital, we acknowledge the department.
Hello, Osman. Ne ke kopa re o tsamatsamanyana mfana ka like o latlhegile nyana bigana ra utlwa anything, then maybe we can start where you start mo buang ka skill.
Okay. Employment of foreign nationals in scarce skill position.
Yes.
Regarding the Ethiopian nurse employed at Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital, we acknowledge the department statement affirming its legal employment status. However, we seek clarification on the following points. Scarce skills classification. Is the Ethiopian nurse classified under the scarce skill category? If so, could you provide the details on the specific skill or qualification that warranted his employment under that classification?
Yes.
Skill transfer. What measures are in place to ensure the transfer of this skill to a South African citizen? It is essential to understand how the department facilitates knowledge and skill transfer to build a local capacity and reduce future reliance on foreign nationals in such positions. And then we went and coded our own constitution when coming to legislative framework. We recognize that the employment of foreign nationals is governed by Immigration Act 2002, Act number 13, which outlines the requirement for the entry, residence, and employment of foreign nationals in South Africa. The Act mandates that the employer may not employ a foreign national unless they hold a valid work visa issued in terms of the Act. Additionally, the Employment Service Act 2014, Act number 4, complements the Immigration Act by prohibiting employers from employing foreign nationals prior to such individual producing the applicable and valid work visa issued by Department of Home Affairs. Furthermore, of Section 22 of Constitution, Republic of South Africa 1996 states that every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation, or profession freely. The practice of trade, occupation, and profession may be regulated by law. This underscores the importance of prioritizing. Wait a minute. Furthermore, Section 22 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa 1996 states that every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation, and profession freely. This practice of importance is prioritizing the employment of South African citizens, especially in positions where skills are not classified as scarce. With this legal provision in mind, we demand answers to the following. Permanent residence. When was this Ethiopian national granted permanent residence in South Africa, if applicable? Was this individual a permanent resident at the time of their employment at Baragwanath Hospital? Critical skills visa application. If the individual was not a permanent resident at the time of employment, who applied for the critical skills visa? On what ground?
Yes.
Which category of critical skills list did this individual qualify under? And was there no employment aligned with visa requirement? Employment processes and advertisement. When was this position advertised and where? What efforts were made to ensure South Africans had opportunity to apply for this position? Who was responsible for providing the employment of this foreign national? Skills transfer obligation. If the Ethiopian national was hired under a critical skills visa, why was the skill transfer program not implemented within the standard 3 to 4 years period?
Yeah.
Who was responsible for monitoring and ensuring skills transfer took place? Was a South African citizen ever considered to be trained to take over the role? The government has repeatedly stated its commitment to prioritizing South African citizens in employment, particularly in sectors where we have skilled professions who remain unemployed. As civil society representatives, we demand transparency on this matter and expect a full detailed response within 7 working days.
Okay. So we did you send that memorandum to them, and have they? Yes. And you're giving them 7 working days to respond.
Yes, we did send the letter to on Monday. So we currently busy counting. We will see if they will respond or not.
Okay, so this past Monday.
Yes.
Oh, I see. All right, and then did they verify his qualifications? Pila or okay. Like they said, it's nursing. What nursing admin?
Yes, I forgot the other one is the specialist. I don't know in what, but when you check under the healthcare profession, nursing admin as in NQF level 8 is not listed as a critical skill under health department. Because they must already have repeatedly, as a Minister of Home Affairs, repeated that statement that people will come and say, my profession is also a scarce skill. It doesn't mean when Home Affairs say this is a scarce skill. When as an NQF level 8 come contact we are not scarce skill. It doesn't mean we are not important.
Okay.
What it means is that
phone happy move on a little bit because you're not that clear.
As is.
Yeah, now you're fine.
NQF level 8.
Yes.
The question that we need to ask is, are we in shortage of NQF level 8 nurses now as a country? Because now as a South African, I don't remember South Africa about 2011 saying we are in need, we are in shortage of nurses in our sector. So how was that foreigner employed in 2011? That is what we need answers for. South Africans, I can say, Mama Silwanuka, I just think I can say, Mama Silwanuka, like they take things easy and things are not easy.
Yeah.
Unemployment in South Africa is the highest in the world. And helping South African citizens on number 160 on a little problem with Sasaya contract and Ibereka if we did 2023 March.
Yes.
She was unable to get the 350. We went and we did a requirement to You know, Paris and Nakwa, no, you cannot qualify because you get money. And then she's like, I'm getting 600 from the maintenance from Papa.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the 530 and then okay, I have the 600 maintenance to survive. Guarantee but that is the reason. I asked the official that was assisting. Sorry, if I have qualified because of that, is the 350 not the money that the government said it's for unemployed people?
Yeah.
And then he said, what I'm going to say might put me in trouble. Our government doesn't have money. That is why at this moment, we register only SIM cards that are recard. If you are not recard, you won't get the money because we need to trace. Somebody sends you 50 rand your e-wallet, automatically it will cancel the 350. If you create 350 time bank and then somebody romela 300 or 200 in another bank, automatically they trace it, they cancel your 350 or you got another source of income, so, whether it's a once-off or not.
So they are trying to save money because they don't have money. They can't sustain. They can't sustain this 350 thing anymore.
They are not trying to sustain money, but the numbers from the SASSA grant and our government.
All right.
And then South Africans are duty. And it's not like Hagona Mebereko. Now I will say it to Mebereko, South Africa, it's any that can make South Africans to go and work. But because our government has opened the borders, our government is not enforcing the laws. That is why South Africans are unemployed. And South Africans must also stand up and say, will 350 make me reach my dreams? I asked the community, will you buy your dream car at 350 if you do so, at least Ramaphosa wa re zama ka di 350.
Yeah.
But when you look ka majarteng ka mo kwa hao hona le bahiri ba ileng gore ba ya ko marikana mo le ba yo bereka, they are not South Africans, but when our America out there, does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. So our government is infiltrated, including the politicians.
Yeah.
If you remember, Dr. Kgosi, Dr. Motsoaledi, 2022, by issued the investigation commission who investigated
investigate
the permanent residents.
Okay, yes.
The permanent residence and the citizenship of foreign nationals until 2014. They started until 2014, meaning from 2022 then until 2014.
Yeah.
They came back when we questioned. They did the investigation. Our government did that report, Kamara, Utana Felali, ya commission, ya the Lubisi commission, the investigation. Reason being, influential people that Rebabona Modi screening, they are our influencers. They have obtained citizenship in South Africa fraudulently.
Yeah.
So our government has to expose those kind of things.
Yeah.
That is the situation where we are at South Africans, and it won't stop. The thing is, it won't stop because these people are not stopping to flock it in South Africa. Just 3 days ago, Kenya was reporting they got 55 Ethiopians that were enrouting South Africa.
Batlakwan?
Nobody. Batlakwan, yes.
Okay.
South Africa, why are men only refugees? They don't ask themselves that question.
There are no women very well. Yeah.
Because Afghanistan, when people were running, the UN planes were taking women, they were taking children. People were running. It was war. But people are coming here, the container, my friend.
Yeah, Baba,
when we were doing...
Baba, they are refugees, yeah. They are
refugees, but when you go UN, UN doesn't have that database. They are refugees or where? Those are the questions that we South Africans are not ready to ask. As long as I'm okay, like another roof over my head, I'm sorted. Yes.
Hey, thank you so very much. So we'll wait. What is the response from the department to Lina as progressive forces, and then I believe you'll let us know Didnt, then we can be able to tell the South Africans on Kgosi.
Yes, we will give you the update. And then Professor Maya, I would like to engage with South Africans, especially the civil servants, those who work for the government. Whether you are a police, whether you are a Home Affairs official, whether you are a Labor Department official, whether you are in any department, you are failing South Africans in all aspects.
Yeah.
Last week we were going to be international, the worker employment of foreign nationals. The representative to our Department of Education, Labor, said, I'm going to answer this according to my work. Not that I don't feel what you guys are saying, but I have to take emotions from it. Meaning very well, it's not like these people, they don't know the laws that they draft, the bills that they pass, like Bob Bella Bill, were there to question employment of foreign nationals and the Bella Bill, if buried people from undocumented learners should be accepted in the schools. When did our government even more infrastructure mode build that school everywhere? Because even the Kolokobo Northwest, that they adopted the 90s when democracy is.
Yes.
But the government schools, they were built. Donations to South Africans, Bo Bakaka middle school, middle school over Rustenburg. Today, they are flooded. They haven't built any more schools. So the people that they are opening the gates for, they were not only officially Home Affairs, so they are 2.5. We are not thinking, this person is not only to occupy a job, he's also going to lose healthcare, he's also going to lose the schools. They are also going to connect electricity wrong, illegally. We are now crying more than Billy because week in, week out, the electricity is gone. Week in, week out, the cables are gone. Why wouldn't the cables go when all the parks, more than Billy, there are people retiring there the whole day looking for a job? Why do we think for those people who want to go to party, if they don't get anybody to come and fetch them,
yeah.
How will the crime go low? Because how will that person is thinking, I got nothing to eat. Obviously, they will rob you because they have to survive.
Yeah.
That is common sense. Where is the police that time? I'm not the police.
Yeah.
You call the police, if you identify him, the police take 250, they cancel the docket.
Yeah.
You call the police as a protocol request. The police and the Home Affairs, they go there behind our backs and then they collect after the employer calls back barricades. Those foreign nationals back. We have that we applied for a rate for January. I got a call from the people who gave us the tips that are working there. You guys were there.
Okay.
Some Monday.
Bon, maybe just move out a little bit because we want to hear that point up for you. A little bit sorry, what happened to the rate? Nangula, what's going on? Hey, can I get a that point the rate once because I'm all out pila mole.
We got the police. Yes. Community or the employers, whether it's effective or what, they come to us as a movement saying, our political parties have failed us, we call them, they come in, the HR and the owners of the factories, and then after fix in 3 weeks time, because they go behind and then the employer is if you guys don't want to work, go, I will get somebody else. They cannot be told they are being paid less than the minimum wage required.
Yeah.
Because foreigners can work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I follow the protocol, apply a rate. A selfish, greedy policeman or policewoman and a selfish, greedy Home Affairs official ba tsamaye behind our back, ba go that factory, ba bolele, ba etsa o kare ba rate, ba etsa o kare, they don't rate, ba etsa o kare. Without informing us, because rona ha re le mo as a movement, we record everything and we demand the answers. If you remember last year, we put them on air. They were angry at us.
I remember,
but we still said we still said we need answers of why those people didn't appear in court. Till today, no official has come to us and said those people didn't appear in court because of 1, 2, 3. This year, when we went back, they said, give us the records of all the rates we did with you last year. We provided those. Now, because they can see, we are so detailed, we take every detail when we are with them to the operations. They now said, give us the rate, and that was in January. Now we are still busy, we will do the rate in February. Only on Monday, we receive phone calls from the people that are there saying, we hear you guys are there, but most you didn't do anything. Those foreigners ran when they see Home Affairs, and then after a few hours, they were called back to come back. So what was Home Affairs and SAPS going there for? And why did they go there without us? Because that rate is us who applied for it. We should be there.
Yes.
We should be there.
Yeah.
So our greedy officials are not thinking that they are only thinking about their quick 1.5 a day that they will make. And then that quick 1.5 has long-term consequences. I'm saying this so that if they are listening, maybe it will touch them and then they will stop collecting the bribes.
Yeah.
And think about their fellow South Africans. Now, when I see any South African, I see my brother, I see my sister, Dr. Kgosi.
Yes.
I cannot keep as a South African struggling. That is why I go all out when I'm called in. I will be there.
Okay. Also, I can feel the emotions in your voice. Your patriotism really speaks for itself. You know, from the first day when there was other rates, like 60, I really knew we have a leader. We have a leader that can really take us somewhere. So thank you so much, Usoka, for your selfless work. And Progressive Force as well, thank you so much for your selfless work. Or at least you guys are really doing the best that no one else is doing. And keep on fighting the good fight, my sister. And God, Mudimal twist, and please be safe.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Kgosi, FM.
Yeah, no, we'll do that. Thank you so much. Another Pokoto. Thank you, Iswaka. Have a nice one.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. All right, that was Usbonang Sepolani from Progressive Forces of South Africa. I read a little brief of Kakanyam Yamutakoa Ethiopia that was employed. You know, for not the funny part is it's like this one. Okay, the man was employed, correct? The question here, was there no South African that had that critical skill? Was there no South African that had that critical skill that they had to go and source a foreign skill outside? There's a lot of matrons, because nothing at Miniki matron level, there's a lot of matrons that could be hired to baragwanath, that could be sourced from other hospitals or anywhere else. Most of our nurses are running towards private because they pay better, even though their work is hectic. But for them to now justify and say, no, the man has permanent residency and the man has a South African certificate ID. I keep looking into South African identification certificate. I don't know what is that. But worker ID document or worker ID card, ID book, what? I have no idea. I've never heard of South African identification certificate. I don't know if you guys maybe heard of it. Tell me now, 064 548 776, or maybe there's something like that. South African identification certificate. I don't know. Is it an ID card? Yeah, right now, ID book, green. I have no idea. But nonetheless, South Africa, we need to be patriotic to ourselves, really. We need to stand up and really fight for what is ours and not fall to this trap. We are xenophobic. If we speak, we are xenophobic. Now, always say one thing to people. these things are not happening in these people's countries. Why must it happen to ours? You'll never find a nurse in Ethiopia who's a South African Zulu, Xhosa, Mopedi. You'll never find a hawker go Nigeria, or a saloon owner go Nigeria, or internet cafe owner go Nigeria. You won't, but you'll find them here. The question is why? Why do we allow that to happen? Why Rona, it's like we are big brother, we're supposed to accept everybody, and then born in their own countries. Even they are very unapologetic about their laws. Their laws tell us exactly this job is reserved for this arena, local bill. Small businesses, whatever, local. When we say that, we are xenophobic. Like when I said, Bonale Nobility, we are xenophobic. But in your countries, does not allow that to happen. So the question is, who's fooling who and who's actually making anyone style as we are. And you being political correct does not make you politically correct, does not make you a patriotic South African. Just because when you're going to talk and say, but hey, let's stop this xenophobic thing, we need to all love each other as Africans, that is you saying that because you are talking from a point of privilege. Whereas kids who are competing on restaurants and whatnot, like that they can't go in. Like banal child things. Ngwanage is guaranteed a good life forever. And his kids probably, if the guys made a good investment. There are some kids who still rely on being waiters and waitresses. But they can't go into the space. Do you know why? Because how it's an Zimbabweans, Malawians, and everybody else. You go into the township market, you find Bangladesh, Somalia fail. We don't. But most of us, we even let them hire our old shops. For years, for years, you know, now my friend. I don't know what is wrong with us at the end of the day. And when people go out as selfless as Bosch, Bonang, and I even other South African Bosch Koena, but self-defeating South Africans, we call them xenophobic. I mean, if you can look at what they said, and those are South Africans. Chidimma. No South African lady goes and disrespect Nigeria. No one. No one goes out there and do anything they like. Now stand as kgosietsile as on the side of us as black people. Whether they will be called names and will be called, it's fine. So long as I know how the history will judge me one day as a person who fought for the recognition of a black person. We are fighting white people, we are fighting these ones as well. And they're supposed to be out there on our side as black brothers from Africa, they must know. The question was very profound. Why is it only men who are refugees in this country? Like, how do you lie under a container? In a container is ventilation. From Ethiopia, only Ethiopia got anything. The whole of Kenya, all the way to here. How do you cope? I can't even drive my car from to Lotus Garden Festival. Now, how do you survive in a container from that long? You know, have you guys seen this tendency of Pakistanis? What they do, especially for the small phone shops, they circulate, they recycle their people every 2 years. Have you seen that? Mosentramo, there was the one who was called Ali. We called him Ali. The first one was a little bit thinner, so he was there. Then he left. Then came another Ali, the Chabinyana one, who has been there for 2 years as well. Now there's a new one. If you go to Central now, there's a new one. And this one, and the other one will tell you, no, Ali's coming back. He went home. He'll be back after 2 months. This one is telling the same story as well. No, it's because of human trafficking. That's how they are trafficked, unfortunately. They buy their stay in this country from their own kingpins in Pakistan. If you want to see how people are smuggled, go watch a movie called Lethal Weapon 4. That's where the last in that franchise, Danny Clover, Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon 4, where they are now investigating the smuggling of Chinese to America. How they are made. If maybe your uncle or there's a triads. They're gangsters in America, the Chinese gangsters. So they wanted one of the family. The uncle, I think, was an engraver. So he can make very beautiful engraving plates for Chelet. So they wanted to get the guy. He must come and make engraving plates, and then they could make fake money to pay a general that's going to release the forefathers, which are like the head of the gangster. Yabon. So they were smuggling people through a boat, 4 months in a boat with one bucket for plus minus 400 people. Children as well involved up to America. So that's how they do it. So they know, if you want to go to South Africa, you go to see these people in wherever you are, in Pakistan maybe. And then when you get there, you have to buy your stay in South Africa. So you come, they say, okay, fine, you're going to go and work for 2 years on this place. People who are more, how holy, you're just selling phones. But you're actually paying you being here from where you come from. Then you go and apply for asylum. They give it to South Africans. They give it to you. And then you are there. 2 years later, you go back. You are done. Or maybe your family now is free from this loan shark or whatever. So it's human trafficking, recycling of people. That's what happens all the time in this country. So if you just keep a look at the normal phone shop, near you, see the people there. They are new every 2 years. That's how they recycle people. That's how they traffic people and they make people come back, and then they do that. So I wouldn't be surprised this Ethiopian as well. If Velganeti, he'll be gone soon. There'll be another one coming. Just because South Africa has got this lax laws on everything. Everything is just whoever wants to come in wants to come in. It's fine. Whoever wants to come in, they come in. Come in and out, like the way. But it's not too late. It's not too late for us to say this is enough. Enough is enough. We put a stop to it. We put a stop, and it's all on your hands as South Africans to stand and say this cannot be done. We cannot be pulled the people of the same skin color as ours. We just can't do that. And the silence of their government is very concerning, especially when you know and you can see about 2 million of them plus minus are here. Illegal. I don't know how many now. Everybody's here, but none of the government is saying anything. They only talk when there's this thing of xenophobic. That's when they start talking too much. Yeah, South Africans are xenophobic. But when the people are committing crimes in this country, it's okay. They keep quiet. So no one is going to come in and look out for us, except Rena. So you have to stand up and say, enough is enough. Ne? Unity aruna etoma between us. Next door. Charity begins at home. Kgosi is signing off. Thank you so much for taking your time and your data to listen to me today, rambling again. My guests, Osbonang Spolane Le Oskwena Molewa. Thank you so much. Jackson Mutembu, no relation to the one that we know. Thank you so much. The news is whatever you want to hear, you tune on www.kgosiefm.co.za. So thank you so very much. Have a lovely night. Further, I love you so much. Thank you again. There's no more thanks I can give. Because listening to me now, it's expensive for most of us. As you know, data I do know, but please, let us sleep one thing. Charity begins at home. Bye-bye. I love you.